Hey, what's up guys? I've got the Meguiar's Ultimate Quick Wax up and I'm going to go ahead and test it out against the Turtle Wax Ice Spray Wax at the same time. I've already done a test review on both of these products individually with their detailer sprays. Go ahead and check those videos out if you haven't seen them. Now here in the US you're going to see these two products over the counter at many of the stores. And they're priced around the same price point. So I've seen the Ultimate Quick Wax go for anywhere from $6.55 to $12 for 15.2 fluid ounces, and then I've seen the ice spray wax go from $6.49 all the way up to $10 for 20 fluid ounces. And most of the time I usually see the Ultimate Quick Wax going for a higher price compared to the ice spray wax. I think it has a higher price per ounce. So both of these products here have the same exact use. They're both spray waxes. They have a combination of carnauba wax mixed in with synthetic polymers. So they're going to leave you with a high gloss surface that's going to be slick feeling on the paint, and also leave behind a layer of protection that's going to give you a hydrophobic surface. So you're going to see some great water beading out of both of them. And they're really easy to apply to the paint as well. You just do a couple mists onto the section of the paint, go over that with a microfiber towel, and then flip that towel over to give it that final wipe down. So there's nothing that dries to a haze. There's no sort of oily residue that you have to spread across the entire paint. They go on super easy and they come off really clean as well. So I applied these on the paint yesterday. It's been 24 hours. I'm going to go ahead and see how these both perform in the water test. I've got the Meguiar's Ultimate Quick Wax on the left side fender and the left side hood facing the car. And on the right side hood and the right side fender I've got the Turtle Wax Ice Spray Wax. And I prepped the surface as well using Meguiar's M205, followed up with an isopropyl alcohol wipe down. So this is what these two products are going to look like when there's nothing underneath of them. It's just fresh, bare clear coat. And one of the reasons I'm doing this test is because I'm trying to set up a layering test. So I'm going to see how these products behave when they're on bare clear coat. And then afterwards I'm going to remove everything using the finishing polish from Meguiar's, and then see how these products behave when they have a base layer of wax underneath of them. And so when I use spray waxes, I usually have a base layer wax or sealant already on the paint, and then as I wash the car during my weekly washes, I'll come out with the spray wax and then use them as my final wipe down after I get the car all cleaned off. So the idea of using it like that is to basically just boost the protection of the wax or sealant underneath. So I might actually use a wax or a sealant once every couple months, and then during those weekly or bi-weekly washes just come over here again and use the spray wax on top of them. And so the car is always going to be protected. I'm always going to have something left on the paint that's going to leave some sort of protection on there. And as far as durability goes, with these spray waxes, they're not generally known to have a very long-term durability. Maybe you'll get a couple weeks out of them, maybe 1 to 2 months tops, but the general assumption is that after 2 months, you're basically not getting much protection left out of them. But you can certainly use these by themselves, and so that's one of the reasons why I want to get the results of the hydrophobic behavior with nothing underneath of them. And then I want to compare that with the results of what it looks like when we do have a wax or a sealant underneath them. And I can tell you right away, they don't behave the same way. And one of my assumptions was these two products have their own individual surface tension characteristics that causes the water to bead a certain way. It has a certain level of water beading out of it. And we're definitely seeing that sort of behavior. We're seeing that surface tension in action, rinsing down both sides of the panel right here. And so I figured that if you applied these products over top of a wax or a sealant that's already on the paint, then you're going to get this exact same level of water repellency. But in my testing so far, I found out that that's not the case. Depending on what you have underneath of these two products, if you have a wax or a sealant, that can alter the way that these two spray waxes behave on that top layer of the surface. So I might come across results where I'm seeing that one product is working better on top of waxes and sealants compared to a different product, even though they behave very similar to each other when they're applied to bare clear coat. And that's what I'm noticing in this test, is both the ice spray wax and the Meguiar's Ultimate Quick Wax are behaving very similarly. They both have similar levels of hydrophobic behavior. And a lot of guys are wondering, what's going to happen to my water beading if I go ahead and apply these spray detailers or spray waxes over top of my sealant or my wax or even my coating. And when you're judging your product's durability based on water beading, then you really don't want to have a product applied over top of it that's going to reduce the hydrophobic behavior. I mean, especially if you have a coating where the coating is supposed to give you that high surface tension, those really tight beads over a long period of time. I mean, let's say you have a coating that is supposed to last you a couple of years, and then after a year you notice that the beading has really been reduced, but you've been applying some products over top of it, maybe some detailer products, maybe some spray waxes, or even some waxes. You're really questioning whether or not the coating has failed because it's failed, or whether or not the beading's failed because you've applied these products that have reduced the level of water repellency. So the coating might still be working fine, but you've used all these different products that have altered the surface tension so much that it might not go back to normal, might not go back to beading as well as it was, in the beginning. So I'll go ahead and get the soap out. We'll see how these two hold up after using soap. I know I didn't do that in the last Ultimate Quick Wax video, so we'll see how it holds up now. Alright, so again I'm using the Meguiar's Deep Crystal Car Wash Soap. We want to see if there's been any changes in the surface tension. In the last ice spray wax video that I did, I noticed that it was just a little bit less hydrophobic than it was at the beginning of the test. I wasn't able to test the Ultimate Quick Wax yet. I wasn't doing the the short-term soap durability, but let's see how it's held up on this side. It does look like it's going a little bit flatter, a little bit slower on that sheet. Definitely not bad though. It's still a pretty high surface tension. That sheet falls off pretty quickly. And so this is where people are getting their sense of durability from, is if it's really affected in the short term, maybe after one wash and it starts to go a little bit slower, that's where you get that sense that it's only going to last you maybe a couple weeks or maybe 1 or 2 months tops. But I mean, there's really no other way to judge durability. I mean, people have been using water beading for a long time. Even manufacturers use it. I mean, you've got both Meguiar's and Turtle Wax using the consecutive, the 52 washes and judging the beading, whether or not a product is still there. I mean, a test like that is not going to tell you that a product is going to last a year or more. You've got a lot of these products that are really soap resistant that will have their surface tension decrease over time within the 4 to 6 month period, or maybe even less than that, but something that might be really durable in the short term against both water and soap. And some of these products you can wash probably hundreds and hundreds of times in the short term consecutively with water and soap, and their surface tension might not change at all. But this doesn't tell you that they're going to last that many weeks, because there's more variables that affect durability as opposed to just water and soap. That being said, those ones who do well in the short term, with those consecutive washes and rinses and putting water down on them for a very long time, if their surface tension doesn't change in that test very much, these are generally known to be more durable by users. So compared to something like the Turtle Wax Wax and Dry, we saw the very flat water sheeting behavior with that product, and we compare that with the ice spray wax and the Meguiar's Ultimate Quick Wax here. You can see that there's definitely a reason why people consider these two products on this paint right now to be more durable than products like those. And the beading might actually be rounder on the ice spray wax side over here compared to the Meguiar's side. I'll go over here and we'll sheet the water off again. I mean, it looks like it's getting held up, towards the middle of the hood there, but the bottom portion, it sheets off really quickly. So I think sheeting wise, these two are very comparable. Beading, as far as how tight the beads are, I think that the ice spray wax by itself might be just a little bit tighter. But you guys are going to have to let me know what you think in the comments below. I mean, they're really close as far as comparing them to each other. So for you, the decision to buy, one over the other might come down to price. You definitely have a higher price per ounce for the Meguiar's. I mean, I certainly love working with both of them. As far as smell-wise, I mean, they both smell great. I really like the smell of the Meguiar's Ultimate Quick Wax. I know they make a gallon size, the Meguiar's D156 spray wax that they have. It doesn't have the same smell, but it's pretty much the same exact product. I mean, so both of these you can use as a drying aid. You can use them as that final wipe down, that final spray wax. You don't want to use them if the car is slightly dirty. They don't have enough lubrication in there, so you're going to scratch the paint if it's got dirt on there and you try to wipe them down. You can definitely use them on both trim and glass. You're not going to get any sort of white residue in the trim. And so in the next test with these two products, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put ice paste wax as the base layer and show you guys, you know, what it looks like when these two products are applied over top ice paste wax. And there's definitely going to be a difference. So stay tuned for that test, and I'll see you guys later.